The discourse around this movie has been very annoying. That's for damn sure, yeah. Rotten Tomatoes, Rotten Tomatoes, Rotten Tomatoes. Just nothing but Rotten Tomatoes this week. And it's been, I'm glad we can finally just kind of put it to rest. It's still going to do well. People are still enjoying it. The audience is enjoying it. That's all that matters, which I've said time and time again. And I must say that I was never really super hyped about this movie, seeing the trailers and whatnot. Just never really went, oh, I can't. But then when it wasn't a critical darling like all the other MCU movies, I went, oh, interesting. Interesting. What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here, bringing you a film review of Eternals. Eternals, of course, is the new chapter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's directed by Chloe Zhao. That's right. A lot of us were kind of excited, like, oh yeah, she's won an Academy Award, she's got a visual style, and then she wanted to go to a lot of live locations, so I was like, oh, cool. So the Eternals, of course, these immortal beings that have been on Earth for quite a while, and they fight the Deviants. And it's funny because everybody always talks about, well, where were they when it came to all of Thanos and everything else? And it's like, nope, they were put here strictly to fight the Deviants. That's how they've just been kind of like for centuries, just hiding out. But then, of course, they basically report to these celestial beings that kind of just let them know, like, hey, when the time comes, well, you got to get back into soldier mode. And sure enough, that is what's happened currently. So the Eternals kind of get the band back together after centuries of not being together, and they had to start fighting the Deviants again and wonder what the hell exactly is happening. So what did I think of the Eternals movie? Pretty much in the same place where I was when I walked into this movie. I just kind of went, all right, that was that. That was pretty much it. Because, man, I tell you what, now after watching this movie, let's just get this out of the way. Cinematography, I knew it was going to be great because you could tell by the trailers, and sure enough, cinematography was great. Sometimes, though, it did feel a little, what's going on? There's a fight happening. It's kind of dark, and you're not doing so well shooting in the dark. Hey, just ask Denny over there. See how he did some stuff in Dune in the dark? It was great. I blame Marvel for that, though, because their freaking color palettes they put on their movies. I don't know if that's, that's director's fault, really. But yeah, this movie, like I said, it's 2.5 hours long, which is fine. But at the same time, this needed to be a series. It needed to be a series. It really did, because you have all these characters, and you got to see, like, you see the beginning, and then they kind of walk away from their duties, and you kind of see that unfold. And they do they do flashbacks, which is kind of cool, kind of throws you off a little bit. But they do flashbacks from where you kind of see where everything, because you're opening on present day, and then you're kind of going back when it comes to the characters and what all happened. So, yeah, okay, that's cool. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but when you do that, you have so much to cram in, and 2.5 hours just ain't gonna do it. That's why I'm going, why didn't they just make this a series? Because a lot of people don't know who the Eternals are, okay? This is not going to be one of those where the audience just automatically is like, yeah, Eternals, of course, yeah, I got my Eternals shirt on. No, when I went to my screening yesterday, I saw Captain America shirts, Iron Man shirts, somebody had Thor's hammer. I mean, nobody really nobody's gonna really know who these characters are, and I think that really suffered because it starts off where you get this introduction, it's kind of just like boom, 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 and it's fine. And then you get this second act of just a bloated, kind of messy, kind of boring. It's boring. There's parts where it was boring. I will say this, and I know I didn't sleep well the night before, and that's actually a pretty test, because if a movie with lack of sleep can make me where I'm just like going, oh my God, and not make me go like that, that's bad, because there's a couple times where I was like, that final act, though, like I said in my first reaction, I thought strongest part of the movie. The little final battle that they have when everything is like craziness and how they have to all kind of come together when shit happens. I mean, it's good. It's good. Visually great. And, you've seen everybody displaying their powers and whatnot. But I'm just saying, I think this story could have benefited for being like an actual, like a season 1. Because it basically, they could have just went through like each character, get their backstories, where they've been for centuries. Because we're seeing present day, and then we see like certain battles that they were doing, and how they were not really interfering with human history, but they kind of were. They were like kind of doing that, but they weren't getting into conflicts and everything. I mean, I think it would have really benefited. And then you can even see where exactly they were when Thanos was around. I don't know, it just really could have benefited from being a series 100%, because it was just too much to contain. And these characters, to try to make them interesting, you don't have a lot of time. And I'm just kind of going like, some of them are not interesting. Especially the leads. Gemma Chan, Richard Madden. I'm sorry, but they were dull. Just was not feeling it. Gemma Chan just didn't have the lead power that you need for something like this. It was just dull. I just was not feeling it. And then their love story, don't even get me started about that. There was I didn't feel the chemistry. They were trying to say, oh, this tension, all this time and stuff like that. Then they're back in each other's lives and, oh my God, there's going to be this tension. And they're going to show sex for the first time. Fucking Tony Stark says hi. And so much focus on that, which took away from the other characters. And there's another little love story between two other characters that actually you felt that more than the leads. And that's bad. That's bad. And then, and one of them has to do with Barry, what's his name? He was great. I actually liked him. And Angelina Jolie, too. Oh, man, I'll tell you what. We just found out, too, from her that she did get asked about playing Wonder Woman. And if we're going to get an Angelina Jolie Wonder Woman, this is pretty much it right here. And her story is pretty interesting, too, because then it leads to a reveal, which was pretty cool. I like the fact that it was okay, you kind of find out what exactly is happening here, especially when certain things happen. And no spoilers. I'll likely do a spoiler review, of course, but yeah, it's just some of these characters, and it's just the main kind of takes away from the other ones. And then you got Kamel, and he just kind of yeah, he's funny, but his assistant was probably funnier. And it's just kind of yeah, you're trying to break the tension with some things, and it's just the dialogue kind of gets at some points. It's just that middle section. But like I said, when you finally get to that final act, that final battle, you just kind of go, oh, okay, this is cool. I'm digging this. But at the same time, I'm just kind of going, oh man, it just would have been a lot more interesting to flesh these characters out in a longer kind of story. Just really, I think that's where this thing suffered. And when it comes to the action, it was fine. Some of it was some of it was cool, and then some of the visual effects were good too. Like I said, specifically the end. That's why I was kind of oh, okay, this is where I'm not gonna be. And then of course you had the post-credit scenes, which I won't talk about, which. One of them was annoying, and I'll tell you why in my spoiler discussion. I mean, flat out annoying, just because of my movie theater. And then the other one, which I was oh, well, that's cool. That's really cool. So I'll talk about that in my spoiler discussion. But yeah, overall, guys, this was kind of a miss for me. I wish I could say that it wasn't. I did like the fact that it did not feel like a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I love that, because I thought, okay, let's change it up a little bit. Like I said before, Shang-Chi felt like it kind of broke the mold a little bit, and I was hoping this, and it does break the mold. But I just think if you're going to break the mold, you really need to, and you're going to have a story like this, you just really need, it needs to be longer. It needs to be a series, and they should have just put it on Disney Plus or something like that. Really, just that's what I felt like. So anyways, guys, yeah, I mean, go see it, go check it out, determine it for yourself, because that's what we should do, of course. It's not going to be for everybody, and I can see why people were not too gung-ho about it. I can actually see that. I'm actually pretty happy that the critics out there were kind of going maybe some of them are actually going, this is kind of boring. They didn't just cheer it on because it's a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. They just didn't do that. So anyways, guys, there's my review. Let me know your thoughts about it down below. If you saw it, hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm doing this stuff. Make sure you subscribe, join if you want to become a member. And then, of course, we got the Patreon if you want to join that and help out the pirate ship, do. And if you want to check out Film Junkie Closet with some merchandise like this shirt down below. And then, of course, I'll be Vok to stream later, so tune in for that. And, yeah, guys, love you. Talk to you later.